This exhibition is to celebrate 55 years of my artwork. It includes paintings, drawings and prints, and dates back to when I was at school, through art college, early work in Doncaster and up until the present day. Now the work is out of the studio and framed and displayed on the gallery walls. I realise that no longer is it the work that I've toiled over with feelings of love and hate, but it's taken on a life of its own. When I was at school, I was taught by a rather eccentric but inspirational art teacher called Frida Harlow, and I never wanted to do anything other than paint because of her, I think. And she taught us all about the Italian Renaissance painters like Piero, Masaccio, Giotto, Mantegna, Fra Angelico and others, but I don't remember doing anything about modern painters, British 20th century painters. When I was 16 or 17, I was in W.H. Smith's in Leeds, and they were having a remainders sale, and I bought a book about Stanley Spencer. It cost me 7 and 6, I think. And it was an eye-opener, really. I knew the name, but I didn't know the work. And through him, I discovered other English painters, Bomberg, Paul Nash, Mark Gertler, and others. And I think it was through my interest in Spencer that I decided to try for the Slade. Spencer was part of a group of significant painters who were at the Slade before the First World War. Anyway, on the merit of my portfolio, I got into the Slade and spent 4 very enjoyable and profitable years there. Then I did some teaching, I became a doctor's wife, and we moved to Doncaster. I love painting flowers. I think it's the exuberance of them, the colours, shapes, patterns, closely observed. They're wonderful. And one particular painting of Strelitzia's, we had a holiday in Tenerife, and the hotel we stayed in had yellow walls, white sofas with yellow cushions, and dotted around the place were vases of Strelitzia's on glass top tables. It looked marvellous. So I brought some flowers home with me, which was not easy, and set them up in the studio. Now, usually, when I do a painting, I start off with an initial idea of something that I've seen, but I work out my ideas when I'm actually doing the painting. But with this picture, there was no need. It was all there. I knew what colours I was going to use, the composition and everything. And I really enjoyed painting it. And I think that comes across in the actual picture itself. About 25 years ago, I started painting landscapes a lot nearer home. In the early 1990s, my mother moved to Stirrup, a small village about 10 to 15 minutes away from Tickhill. And when I went to see her, I had to drive past Harworth Colliery. Now, at that time, all the mine workings were on this roadside, so everything could be seen. And I became fascinated by this lunar landscape. Every time I drove past, it seemed to be different. Things had been moved around, colours. When it rained, I saw different colours in it. So I started drawing and painting it. The mining landscape made a big impression on me, and I felt as though I needed to find out more about it. So I went to Yorkshire Main at Edlington in Doncaster. This was the first site I went to where I had to wear a hard hat and a high-vis jacket. The pit itself had closed, and the pit head was being cleared. So it was a bit like a conveyor belt. Great big yellow diggers were filling trucks with slag, and then it was going up to the coal washing machine. They were emptying the load, coming back to get filled up again. So there were several lorries doing this. Now I was sitting above the site on a large slag heap drawing, and overlooking all that was going on. It was dirty, it was dusty, and very, very noisy. And then mid-morning, the men had their break, and it went quiet. So quiet you could hear the birds singing. It was quite magical. People comment quite a lot about how different my flower painting is from my coal mining work, but it's not really different. All my work reflects my interest in shapes, colours and patterns. I like simple dramatic shapes, strong harmonious colours and patterns that are interesting and unusual. Whilst the exhibition has been on, I haven't been able to do any work. I don't seem to be able to concentrate. But when it comes down and things get back to normal, it will be nice to go in the studio again, shut the door and do some proper work. I find that in the past, if I've had a period when I haven't done any painting, I usually start with a couple of still lives, perhaps a piece of fruit or vegetables or something like that. There's something very satisfying about observing something closely and making a very concentrated image of it, and it sort of gets me back into the way of painting again. So I hope this is what will happen. We'll see.